What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Talks, the only podcast you need for all your movie news, reviews, and more. So we're up to episode 13. This is a very special episode. You know, we were going to do it at double digits, but we didn't think of it at that point in time. So episode 13 is a good enough time to do it. And we have a special guest, aka we refer to her either as Murphy or Nana. So please say hello and introduce yourself in 10 seconds or less. Go.
Hi, I'm Claire, also called Nana, to these fellas, and we used to work together / do work together, and I get the pleasure of listening to them every week on the podcast.
You're probably our biggest fan, let's be honest.
I think I am.
I'm not sure who else. I don't know anyone who's listened to all of them but you, so thank you.
I know many people that listen to them. We're worldwide now, so we got people in Belgium,
True.
Turkey, Iceland. I'm not going to name all of them because I probably will forget them. But anyway, Nana took us up on the massive offer that we said in terms of last episode when we said they could nominate a show, which is The Watcher. I think it was like straight after release. All of a sudden, we got a text message saying, let me on. And we're like, yeah, right. So, and I also forgot to introduce my co-host, who you guys all know and love. It's I've already forgot your catchphrase, but I hear it like every day. Please.
What's my I have a catchphrase?
Yeah. It was.
I say, "Woo, hi everybody." Is that what you mean?
We're gonna make a t-shirt, but now I can't remember what your catchphrase was.
Oh, what was it? Yeah.
See?
Oh, it's something about interrupting, isn't it?
No, I don't know. It could
interrupting turtle. What's this? Interrupting duck? Interrupting cow? What's the knock joke?
Yeah, interrupting cow.
Yeah.
Moo.
Yeah,
that one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I think it was Art House Guy or something. I don't know.
Yeah, some bullshit that's not accurate.
Art House Lover.
Or Mr. Bites, whatever you like. You got a few nicknames now.
I like Mr. Bites.
Take it as you will.
Bitey.
Yeah. We have an action-packed episode for you guys. We have movie news, a new segment after movie news, which these guys don't know about, and it's gonna be really fun. And then we got what? We got Watcher.
I feel like it's gonna be targeting me.
No, it won't. Oh, that was what we said before, just to build hype. We don't do that. A little bit.
It's gonna be Movie Talks quiz. I'm gonna ask you questions about previous episodes of Movie Talks
that we don't know the answers to.
You'd win, yeah.
So then after the new segment, we'll go straight into Watcher, which is the Netflix series, and then we'll go into The Stranger, which is the Australian film put out by Netflix, which also has another one called The Stranger or Stranger, which we were concerned. Well, I was concerned that I actually watched the wrong show, but when they started referencing Queensland and Brisbane, and it was a very Australian accent, I was like, this has to be it. And then we're into Weird, the Al Yankovic story. So that's a very exciting episode. So, do you guys remember? Obviously, Nana, I feel like you would, but Lawson, you're a bit forgetful.
I remembered the past like 10 fucking times. Are you kidding? Jesus Christ, dude. It's like every time I remember. And you're like, oh, you do remember?
Let's just recap in case.
Not interested. Interested. I couldn't care less.
Care. Yeah,
more
or less, yeah.
All right, well, let's change it up and we'll do a buzzer. So can I please get your buzzer sounds? And it's... Whoa.
Oh, they're so similar.
They're so similar. Well, all right. That's better. All right. So it's as like Nova does for all you Australian listeners. So Nova does the quick fire game. So you guys remember that? It's first to three. So
no, but yeah, sure.
What do you mean?
Just get fucking started, man.
Oh, whatever. All right.
Yeah, I don't listen to Nova.
All right. What? Okay. So do the buzzer. If you get three. First one to three wins. All right, ready? Disney
competition?
Yeah, it's competition. Has to be.
I understand. Are we answering the quiz?
No, you just get to answer it, so you get to win.
Three what then? Three answers.
Yep, you get to do. You win. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Disney's looking to make The Princess Diaries 3. Murphy.
Yeah, couldn't care less. I don't think I watched number 2.
Oh, that's...
Beat
I
me to
watched
the
number
answer.
1, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure about number 2.
But all right.
That's the Anne Hathaway film, right?
It is. There's
Yeah, the first one's incredible.
almost 3 of them. So,
Almost 3 of
Yeah,
them.
but she's so much older now.
and doesn't mean she's not a princess. Doesn't mean she doesn't have a
Yeah.
diary. I'm sure it can
Yeah, but-
continue.
Whatever.
I know.
What if she has a princess?
It's a cash grab.
It's
Sure.
totally a cash grab.
Whatever. You guys are just not cultured.
It's always Lawson saying that
Not
like
cultured.
people need to Lawson says people need to like make new content and not just like redo old ideas.
Bam,
This
bam,
is
bam.
This is that.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well then.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck yeah, look at that. I got backup now.
This is not how I envision this going. All right. Triple R, which is the Indian absolutely massive blockbuster, which you can actually watch on Netflix, has a sequel which is in early development.
Sure. I mean, I'm not interested.
Buzzers.
I'm not interested now, but I haven't watched the first yet. I thought it's pretty good. I thought
The first one's
pretty
awesome.
entertaining.
It's long and it's over stylized with like slow motion stuff, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Indian cinema right now is Indian and Chinese cinema right now is just all slow mo all the time. It's fucking brilliant.
Which originally it came from, I think it was Hong Kong, which was John Woo, who did like Mission Impossible 2 was his breakout in the West, which did the slow mo and the doves, which was kind of inspired by from Max Payne. So like, you know, the bullet time where he like jumps.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
In
number 3.
in 50 Cent's game, it was called Gangster Time.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot.
game.
Forgot he
Blood
had a
in the
game,
sand.
hey? That's right. Oh, that's something. All right. The game is one apiece. All right.
Sure.
Robert Downey Jr.'s Netflix documentary about Robert Downey Sr. gets its first trailer. Yeah. Go.
Who's Robert Downey?
That's my answer.
Robert Downey Jr.
Who's Robert Downey Sr.?
His father.
Yeah, but was he
That's
someone
why-
important?
Was he someone?
Yeah,
Was
his
he
father.
like famous? I know it's his father. I'm not an idiot.
That's why
Is
he's
he
named
famous for
Junior and
something?
Senior. You're giving birth to Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man.
Yeah, but was he a guy that just worked in a factory and went to work every day and came home and drank? Like, or was he someone important?
It's just part of the Downey verse, is what the headline is.
I don't think they call it a Downey verse.
This is what it says.
You can't call it the Downey verse.
That's what it says.
I feel like that's an Australian term that people overseas are not going to understand.
It says ready to head into the Downey verse.
Oh, that is bad. Is that an American website?
It's on Empire Online.
Robert
Yeah.
John Downey was an American filmmaker and actor. He was known for writing and directing other stuff. Sure, okay. He was supposedly a filmmaker and an actor.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
Oh,
don't
man.
don't care.
No.
Robert Downey Jr. doesn't float my boat anyway, so
Really?
He puts my boat in some things, but not a lot.
Okay.
I like Ben Chaplin, but maybe it's biased.
Did you like him as Iron Man?
I mean, sure.
Have you
He
seen
did a good
Iron
job
Man?
as Iron Man.
But
He did a very good
and
job as Iron Man.
like his private life is like such a dumpster fire.
That's what makes him interesting.
wouldn't know.
But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Sure.
Nana's point. Nana wins. Hooray. Let's move on.
No, you got this first to 3.
Oh, I thought it was best 2 out of 3.
No. All right, ready? Puss in Boots,
Sure.
The Last Wish has a new trailer for the feline hero's new adventure.
Oh, it's Nana. Go.
It was you.
No, that was Nana.
Yeah, sure, that was me. I'll probably watch this because I have 2 small children. So yeah, I'm keen because they'll be keen. As long as
look at
it's Antonio Banderas.
I'm not clicking into it, so I'm going to say yes.
No,
You
can't
heard
read
it.
any more than that title. That's all you need.
That's what brings us content. See, you guys all enjoyed it.
It has to be.
Oh, I
It has to
won.
be him.
Yep.
You did. Look at that. Oh,
Yep.
Yay.
And then the new segment is what has grind your gears this week? Doesn't have to be movies, just in general, just so they get to know us a little bit better. I'll start us off. Ready? It is that all places in Australia now are not recycling soft plastics. They put a hold to it and it grinds my gears. I just really wanted a place to vent about it. That was it. That's the whole point of this segment.
Yeah, that's pretty devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. What grinds my gears this week is losing my power for 2 days. That wasn't good.
That's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Nothing
in that
worse than
same
cleaning
boat.
out a fridge. Cleaning out a fridge from a 48-hour blackout.
oh fuck
Not really
me.
fun.
Oh, I got a
Gross,
lot of,
actually.
well,
Mine was gonna be. I'm sick of people saying the new God of War is boring and like the first one. So that seems very insignificant compared to
Yes, it
plastics and power. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
well, I did a lot of jobs within the blackout. I even cleaned the solar panels, got up on the roof and cleaned it with a mop. So
Fucking hell. That's
yeah,
kind of ironic.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
good
So,
stuff there, buddy.
yeah, thank you. Anyway, we'll get back to what everyone's here
Cleaning
for.
solar panels in the blackout.
You know,
It's hilarious.
if you like those little segments where you can add more of them, I like the little surprises. But because
Wait, genuine question right now.
Ooh,
'cause
all
I haven't
right.
even thought about this. You have solar power.
Mm.
Oh,
Do
no,
you-
no. You're about to
How
show
does it
that you're a
work?
bit of an idiot.
I am an idiot with this stuff.
What do you mean?
How does it work? Does it not? Does your solar power not go to your house, or do you need a house battery for that? to
Yeah,
work?
you need a battery if you're going to run it like that. So
okay.
we get paid back by the electrical company because
Okay.
we
Yep,
feed
I
it
get you
back
now.
in. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it
thank
doesn't
you.
work without. You need to have electricity for it actually to power your house, unless you have a battery.
Yep.
And
Makes
batteries are
sense.
expensive.
Yeah, they're like 10
Yep,
grand.
yep. They
only last like 5 years or something at the moment.
Makes sense.
I have looked into it, but that's
I'm
not
ignorant, but now I've learned
ignorant.
something.
Oh, that was such a good South Park episode. That's ignorant. But but because you were so
Was that a new
excited,
segment?
what? That was the segment.
What was the segment? Oh, the segment was the fucking
What grinds your gears?
grind my
What
gears.
grinds
my
your
bad.
gears?
Yeah.
I feel like this is like Hughesy loses it. Like, do you remember when what his name, Dave Hughes, was doing that?
Yeah, that was on Nova. I thought you didn't listen to Nova.
Okay, maybe back in the day I did.
Yeah, I don't anymore either.
Gotchas.
Triple J all the way.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm too cool now.
Whatever.
Too cool for that.
I listen to
I'm a
movie
hipster
talks.
now. Look at my glasses.
I didn't even notice the glasses, but they look. Are they in reference to Daniel Radcliffe's Weird Al portrayal?
Sure, why not? Yep,
That's what I thought of
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
totally.
Okay. But anyway, Nana, because you were so excited and you recommended it to us, you have the pleasure of introducing the Watcher.
Excellent. Well, I know you guys like to start with a bit of a synopsis of what IMDb says The Watcher or whatever your show is about.
Look at you.
So,
You are on the ball.
so I found theirs to be pretty crap for this particular show, but this is what it is. A married couple moving into their dream home are threatened by terrifying letters from a stalker signed The Watcher. That is essentially it, except it's like there's so many more levels of creepiness in it, and there's so many interesting characters and moments where you think you know what's going on and then it changes, and I loved that about it. And the first 3 episodes I just smashed through. I've actually watched the whole series, so I will try not to put in
Yeah, I was going to say
spoilers.
careful because I made myself stop watching at 3 and I really want to watch the rest. So careful now.
Yeah. Well, the first 3 we just smashed through. It's the kind of show that I felt like I couldn't watch by myself. I wanted to have somebody else there with me because it was a little bit creepy. Yeah, I know. Massive pussy. So Naomi Watts is the mum, Nora, and Dean is played by Bobby Cannavale, who looks familiar, but I looked at like what he's in, and there's nothing really like stand out. He's kind of like one of those like secondary characters.
Yeah, I
kind
feel
of
like I've seen him
angry
on something
dude.
like
Yeah, he was
Side
on
character on
Blonde.
something.
He was on Blonde,
okay.
but he was the ex athlete.
Oh,
Yeah, like he's not like a main character, but you've definitely seen him before.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I actually think not Naomi Watts is like our most underrated Australian actress. Like I rate her highly over bloody Nicole Kidman any day.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, she did good.
Yeah, she did good. But there's such the word that sprung to mind when I was watching this is like they're so white. Like their house is white, they dress in white and beige. They everything about them is very white.
Vanilla.
And it's very vanilla. And I thought that was such a clever choice of costuming and stuff through the episode, but I was waiting for it to like switch up. And like when he started wearing darker clothes, I was like, oh, does this mean something? Is this like some symbolism here? I had my like Lawson art housey hat on trying to
Fuck, how have you branded as that?
It's because I said it enough and it stuck.
God,
it
does.
I feel like it does actually mean something though, like the more you watch it, but that sort of happens after episode 3, so stay tuned.
It will.
My favorite character was Karen, the realtor, who's such a Karen.
Jennifer fucking Coolidge. I love Jennifer Coolidge, man.
Mum. Yeah. My favorite news story, I think, I don't know if you guys had it on here, was that after she filmed American Pie, she like slept with like 200 blokes in like a year or 2 years or something. Like she just smashed through that dick. So and like she fed off of the I'm Stifler's mum thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why the fuck
and like
not?
power to her. Why the
exactly.
fuck not? Power to her. But she was in it. She's very greedy, very preppy. She's like an ex-friend, but like that sort of frenemy kind of not a great friend to Naomi Watts. I found it like, I don't know, just super weird how sort of trusting Naomi Watts was. I'm just going to keep calling her Naomi Watts and not Nora. Nora. But the first episode opens with Nora and Dean going to an open house, this like beautiful mansion, like $4 million mansion in like the suburbs. And as they go through the open house, there's already like some creepy neighbors that they start to encounter, creepy people, like real weirdos. They buy the house super quickly. Don't think they've actually like done their proper checking that I would have done buying a house, but whatever. It's a movie, it's a show.
Yeah, they did nothing.
Yeah.
They were just like, I need to pull all my money and get this house. Didn't do anything. Just
and it seemed so threatening in the first episode that the Dean was just like, I have to get this house, like no matter what. Like I'll take all my stocks and everything out and get it. And I'm like, mate, calm down. Like you got $4
million. It's pretty obsessive.
Like
yeah,
right. But I feel like there's like little red herrings throughout, and maybe that's like part of it.
Fair.
So they've got 2 kids. Do you want me to just keep going, or you guys want to put your 2 cents in? Or?
Well, did you guys? I felt like the acting was a little bit wooden at the start. So old mate, what's his name? The main dad, Dean. Yeah, I was unsure about his acting at the start. Like he just felt really wooden. Like there wasn't.
Yeah, but I think that's them setting him up as like maybe he's like doing something, like he's playing like maybe he's behind it all, or like making him look suspicious. I think that's that.
I don't know. I just felt like he did get better as the episode went on, but just at the start, it just felt like there wasn't much of a connection between the family. Like there wasn't much of a family dynamic in terms of he felt wooden with his delivery. He felt overbearing, but I guess that was potentially set up.
I think
I'm
it was
assuming it'll tie in.
Yeah, I think it was also playing into the fact that at this point, I mean, I could be remembering this wrong, but they weren't necessarily a really happy family at this point. They had
like he'd gone bankrupt like 10 years ago, and it seemed like they were like trying to like get back up to like a good place.
Yeah,
and they sort of hinted about that. And
so I don't think necessarily it was wooden. I think it was just I think there was just a bit of like awkwardness between the family and sort of like walking on eggshells sort of stuff. I thought it worked.
Okay, yeah. I just felt it was a little bit.
Speaking of the family, I bloody hated the son. I thought like he is a so unnecessary character.
Yeah, he's
like,
a shit.
He's just shit. He wasn't a good actor. Like I know he's a
Mhm.
teenager, whatever. But like his ferret dies in the first episode, and like I could care less. Like
No, I
it's-
forgot.
Also, why a ferret? That's a weird choice of like pet. They're just going,
Yeah.
he's
Probably
upset.
why.
Let's get a ferret. Was it meant to like set him up as a loner or unique or sort of like a quirky?
Yeah, I think it's a quirky kid, or who chooses a ferret? It's such a quirky pet. I think that's
Well,
all it was.
Okay. Do you know what the quirkiest
Yeah.
pet would be? Would be a sugar glider. I saw it on TikTok. Some bloke literally has 3 sugar gliders, and that's what his whole TikTok's based around. Him looking after sugar gliders. It's actually really
Sure.
interesting. But yeah,
Clearly it works because you follow him now on TikTok. So
I don't follow him.
Mhm.
I just went through his stuff and was like, sugar gliders are cool. I don't want one, and I won't watch it again. But that's really cool.
And now you're telling cons in Belgium about sugar gliders on TikTok. So the system works.
I don't know what his name
Yeah.
was. So yeah, sugar
I'm sure
gliders.
there's not many.
Yeah, right.
Probably sugar glider guy.
Yeah.
Just
Also-
search that one.
Yeah. Whatever. That's a lot. But the first episode
Anyway,
introduced so many suspects. Like I felt like it was too many. Like there was a person in the window at the start, like as they're walking in. There was a girl in the yard. Then there was the special sort of guy who's like, kind of looks like a caretaker. And he has the lady with the big sort of bottle glasses.
yeah, so that's Jasper and Pearl. So they're brother and sister, and they live across the
Mhm.
road. And she's the
Mhm.
president of the local preservation society. And Jasper's like a bit like simple. But the lady in the yard was the same lady. That was Pearl.
Also,
Yeah.
when was it Jasper? What was his name?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasper.
Why is he in the dumbwaiter? And why would anyone try and argue that it's okay for someone to be in the dumbwaiter? That
He loves it. And the last family apparently let him do it. So it's okay.
well, no, we
Right.
don't
They
know
set
if
that
that's
up.
true. We don't know if it's
No, we
true
don't
or
know
not.
if it's true. That's why. So it sets up the mysteriousness.
Mm.
The mysteriousness. That's a word.
It is now.
Yeah, but just
Yeah, and like
regardless.
because he, he's almost childlike, it kind of makes sense. Like we second guess it. If it was like a grown ass man like Dean writing and going wee, it would be strange and sort of too obvious. So because he's childlike, it's believable that he's just playing.
I don't know.
And makes
Yeah,
me
and-
question it.
I think it also plays into the fact that we don't actually know if he is simple or if he's like traumatized. So there's like what's wrong with him. And so then that creates like a threatening nature because like the dumbwaiter in itself, like the fact that it like goes between levels and it's like a hiding spot, like
Yeah.
it's I don't think they did enough with that, to be honest. Like they use it in the first episode and then I don't think they reference it really like much in the second or third.
Yeah, is it coming back?
No, it hasn't in 2 or
Alright.
3.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, because I hope because you're right. Because if they talk about that much initially and they don't bring it back, then it seems silly. But I guess it's still early.
I think
Yeah.
also it's like
episodes,
setting them up like as having like a historic element to the house. Like the house is supposed to be so old that of course it would have that. But like that's a relic of like days gone by when you had servants and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Downtown Abbey days.
Not Downton.
Nope.
Downton, I think you'll find it is Downton.
No, it's not. It's downtown.
It's
That's where
an
they
extra
go.
W. Just throw it in there.
Yeah, makes it better.
Sure.
Because you're going downtown.
So my favorite characters in the show, apart from Naomi, were Mitch and Mo, the neighbors in the tracksuit. They
they're
call that the
great.
tracksuit twins.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Fuck, I love them.
Yeah.
Mostly because like if they were your neighbors, like you would move. Like
Right.
so annoying.
Richard Kind is so great. The guy who plays Mitch, Richard Kind, is just everything he's in. He makes me laugh. He's so lovable, but also really weird and sort of intimidating
Yes.
in a way.
They're like so weird. Like the first conversation they have about the arugula bush, like growing through the fence. You're like, what the hell?
Arugulas. Yeah, they're probably my favorite 2 characters at the moment. I really enjoy every scene they're in. I have a little giggle because he's just fantastic. He carries scenes. It's so fun.
I would have just let him have the arugula. Would have been like, yeah, get rid of it all. I don't know. Why was he so
go for it.
possessive of it?
But the issue is like for me, it's not them coming onto the property to grab the bush. The issue for me is them sitting up on some deck chairs and staring at your house, like
Right.
with binoculars. Like,
Yeah.
you're like,
You're right.
that's
Because it was weird that he got all up in their face about getting in their yard to cut some bushes, but I found it weird he didn't question them earlier. Because they're just sitting, like you said, they're sitting on deck chairs, staring at the house with fucking binoculars while you've got two kids walking around. You're not going to question these two randoms
They're
until
just
they start
taking
cutting up some arugula.
neighborhood watch to the next level. They're always on guard. It's ready.
That's
for
actually what the
action.
whole show is about. It's about like we should,
Yeah.
you know, all join neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch, yep.
So when the power goes out, that's what you should be doing. Deck chairs out the front, binoculars
Binoculars on,
ready
let's
to go.
Damn.
Night vision.
Missed out in the past 2 days.
No joke.
Cool. The other thing I wanted to sort of tell you was about the Detective Chamberlain, Shooter McGavin. Like,
Oh, yeah, Shooter McGavin. I'm so glad you said it.
I can't see him and not think Shooter McGavin from
I know.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. I can't take him seriously as a character because every time he's on, I can't help but picture like finger guns and his little smug face.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's not that different a character. Like he hasn't actually broken out of that mold. Like at least with Stifler's mum, like, or Karen, like I feel like there's something a bit like more to her. Whereas I think like old Shooter McGavin, he's still Shooter McGavin, he's just in a different show.
You reckon? I reckon Stifler's mum pretty much plays the same character every time. Like she was on Two Girls, or what was it, Two Broke Girls? She played pretty much the same character.
Oh, I mean, yes. I think in this she's a bit deeper. Like there's a bit more depth to her, like a bit more cynicism or like something.
There's a little bit.
I could say that like
much,
Legally Blonde was very similar to her old stuff, but she doesn't feel as she always plays almost a goofy character in a way.
Like a bit dumb.
Like comedic. Yeah. Whereas in this, she doesn't feel like that, and I like that.
Yeah, and I think she's like kind of pushing the envelope a little bit more with this. Like maybe she wants to be taken more seriously as an actress and not just be Stifler's mum forever.
That's going to be very hard to break out of, though.
Yes, true.
Yeah,
definitely.
But do you reckon?
I found also the issue I had with this was like how white the rest of the show was. It's like they've like whitewashed it, and then they're just like token black character. Like
the one black character is a pool cleaner.
Yeah,
no, he's security.
No, he's a security guy.
Oh, that's right.
He's a security guy, and he's automatically because there's a scene where he's like standing around the pool and watching what's her name, but he is 19 and she is 15, and I really
no, she's 16. She says in the pool that she's 16.
No, she says I'm nearly 16.
Yeah,
is she? Oh, I heard 16.
And I swear later someone said she was 16 as well, but that's where I got confused because she said like initially that she's nearly 16, but I swear someone later said, oh, but she's 16, like the dad or something. But maybe it was like nearly, I don't know. But yeah, it was super weird.
Well, I find it a bit weird, like because like we teach kids that age, but then when you are that age, it's not that weird, and you feel like dating a 19-year-old is like quite an attractive thing to do.
Super cool.
Yeah, super cool. But he and also the private investigator are the only two characters who are coloured in the show, and they're the only two, or they're two of the characters that I find they set up a lot of like suspicion around. So I wasn't heaps a fan of that. I found like it was a little bit like playing on the race card a bit.
Sure. I'm not sure I picked that up, but that's a fair comment. Yeah. Ryan, you gonna say something?
Another thing that I don't know if you guys have seen.
Sorry, Ryan.
Go. Yeah,
Nana.
Yeah, that's all right. The soundtrack needs to calm down a little bit though. Like even the first episode, all the way to the third, every scene was melodramatic and like building suspense. It just needs to calm it down a little bit, and then have that payoff towards the end. Because each episode had that little sort of, I guess, cliffhanger. So the end of episode 1 had Stifler's mum, I can't remember, driving past the house, and then they did like a close up of her. Episode 2 had another cliffhanger as well, and then episode 3 They went real dark in episode 3 in terms of, or was it 2, the history of the house, where it was like blood sacrifice and they were going
that was
into,
2.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then number 3, the episode, because I looked at the titles of them because I found that to be interesting too. Like the first one is called like Welcome Friends, and the second one is called Blood Sacrifice, which is like pretty evident why it's called that. And the third one is called, like, it's a German word, so I'm going to butcher this, but it's like Gotterdammerung, which actually means, yes, thank you, pronunciation king.
That's right.
Which is like the German like mythology equivalent of like Ragnarok. So it's like the destruction of gods.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense. Gotterdammerung. It's
makes
pretty
perfect
good.
sense. Yep.
That's right.
Because Gutta comes from, and
God.
Damarum comes from
drumming.
Yep. Good stuff there.
Yep.
The other thing I wanted to point out is there are some similarities here between a show that I watched that has absolutely fucked me up for life of ever living by myself, which is something I'm struggling with. And that is the movie with Helen Hunt called I See You. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so the premise of that is that it plays on this idea of a phenomenon called frogging, where people live in your house, in your roof space, and they like use your, internet, food, etc. when you're not home. And like the movie itself is like not great, but the idea of it is like rather sinister. And so I feel like there are far too many similarities between like what they've tried to establish here and what they do in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's worth a look, I think. But the other thing that I noted was how often in the show, like they're very evident of the watching bit. Like they say watching, or like I see you, or I'll be seeing you, keep an eye on you. Like they say that so often that it's like we get it. Like we get that you're being watched. Like you don't need to say it every 5 minutes.
Just in case you forgot. I felt like it gave reference to the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window. So even though that one was a parody of the actual genre of like people watching across the street, it still had similarities to that. And it did. Yeah. So I'm hoping it doesn't have the same sort of twist as that one did, but I'm hoping that the twist of the Watcher actually has a good payoff.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing watching it so far, is that they're building and they're building and they're building. It needs to be, if it's just, I don't know, if it's just some random who's not connected, I'm not sure I'm going to be happy, because otherwise they've thrown too much suspicion around. And it's like you said early, Nana, like all the red herrings. But if every scene is just a suspicion scene, we're not spending time with characters, we're not giving a shit about characters, and for the end the suspicion isn't a big payoff, then all those scenes of building suspicion have been for nothing. I guess that's one thing I'm worried about.
Having seen the end, and I don't want to ruin it, but I'm just saying, I'm not spoiling it by saying this, but I feel like there's enough character development that like there is some payoff in it. The thing that actually I didn't love is that there is a season 2, and this says it on Netflix when you go to watch it, so it's not a spoiler. But I've heard you guys say before, like if something's good, you don't need to like make more of it.
Yes.
Like just give us 8 episodes or 10 episodes or whatever, and do it in one. Don't be like, this is popular, let's just try and make as much as we can out of it.
Yep.
So this is based off of or inspired by true events, which it's very loose. But the actual crime that it's based off of is like unsolved. So my real worry is that they're going to butcher that in the way that they will just like not end it. Like
we'll give it some bullshit ending.
And like I know that Game of Thrones like was based on the book, and then like they went further than where the books were. So like you can do it, and you can have your own ending without having an ending in real life. So that's my little bugbear about it. But aside from that, like, I jumped on and was like, you have to watch this. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I guess if we want to get to the whole would we recommend it sort of thing after 3 episodes, yeah, I'm definitely keen to watch the rest. Like you said, it's very bingeable. Like I watched the first 3 back to back. It didn't feel like a slog. There was enough entertainment, enough characters being thrown at me. Ryman, you said you think too many characters or too many layers of suspicion, and to a level I agree. But yeah,
I would have liked them to, not introduce all of the characters in the first episode of like suspicion. I would have liked them to gradually increase over the 3 episodes to where we're at now, where I thought it just went a little bit too quick in the suspense realm. They were like, here's all your characters, here's a blood sacrifice, here's the history of the house, here's a bit of a guy that shouldn't technically be here in terms of he was helping himself to the fridge. He was like pretending to be the building inspector.
That was so weird.
Yeah, who ends up being a guy who killed his family? Was that, I forget.
Yeah, John Gaff. Yeah, he killed his family. He's actually in the first episode. I don't know if you remember that. You see him very briefly. Yeah, he's staring down at the boy. Yeah. He killed
that's right, from the window upstairs.
Family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's so trusting. He's just like, I'm the building inspector, and your wife said I could make a sandwich. And Dean's just like, okay, fucking help yourself to the
even
fridge.
if it was the building inspector, that's and someone says, "I'll help yourself to the fridge." That means open the fridge and maybe have a drink. It doesn't. If someone walked in my house, and even if I said, "I'll help yourself," and they're making a fucking sandwich, that is the strangest shit ever. What are you doing?
I mean, he's been through so many strange things, though. Like the whole situation he's in is weird, and he's just like, what's a bloke making a sandwich compared to I'm being watched and there's some
receiving
bloke,
letters.
Yeah, riding up and down in my dumbwaiter, and like this is.
Some of the character decisions felt a little like that, like just letting this man make a sandwich in your house, like felt a little weird, convenient maybe, but whatever. Grain of salt.
I think though for the scene, they just needed him to do something. They're just like, we need him to sort of be doing something in the kitchen so we can have this conversation.
Well, they reference later when you find out and you make the connection that it's him when they're talking about the murder and stuff. They reference the fact that he liked sandwiches or was making a sandwich or some shit.
Did
so
too.
They make some sort of connection.
You always got to love a nice little way for writers to make sense of a random event. So I like the little references to sandwiches. It was good.
Yeah, sure. Weird. Yeah.
Righto.
Should we recommend?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I definitely recommend it. I have watched more, but even I'll just go off those 3 episodes. I reckon after those 3, I was ready to keep smashing it, but it was like, I don't know, 11:30 at night or something. So, I'll go probably 4 stars.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who at the end of the 3rd episode, who do you think was the watcher? Like, if you had to put a prediction in, obviously you've seen it.
I don't have any.
No,
I think it was like, I think at that stage I'm like John Gaff, 100%. Yeah,
I think that's too easy.
It is too easy, but like I feel like at that point there's got to be heaps more to him. Like there's like, where has he been all this time? There's so many questions. I'm like keen to find out more of his story. Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of a hot fuzz kind of situation where it's not one murderer, it's a collective of murderers. Like it's a collective. The Watcher is actually a group of people and everyone's in on it. That's what I'm thinking at this point. But
okay, I
guess we'll see.
I reckon it's Stifler's mum and she's running a con. So because she gets paid on commission of the house, I reckon she gets people to buy it and then obviously sets this up. And then she's like, this is it. This is how I'm going to make more money. That. And that's why she's also trying to get the Nora to buy the second house. And that's why she's trying to split up Nora and what's his name?
Dean.
Dean? Yeah. It's because like she's obviously at the tennis club with Nora and is like, leave him. You need to just leave after.
Yeah, she goes so hard with that though. Like she's like, sell the house, leave him, he's shit. Like it's like, mate, calm down. You don't even know it.
That's why I reckon it's a con. That's why I reckon she's like, this is it.
Right.
I can get more money this way. Because
I saw it more as like she's she's like
Obvious.
invigorating women power. Like, fuck him, you're stronger than that. Leave him, sort of. That's how I took it. But maybe
Nah.
because I'm giving her too much benefit because I love Jennifer Coolidge.
I was just thinking she's going to get 2 sales. They're going to sell the original haunted house, and then they're going to buy another one, and it's like $1 million cheaper than the other one. But that's still a lot of commission.
Yeah,
Like, I feel like
very interesting.
that's where the scheme's coming.
Okay,
That's
I'm
my
not
theory
against
anyway.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your ratings?
I really did enjoy it. The music really put me off. Like, it was really dramatic. I felt like a few of the storylines were jumped heavy into. All of a sudden, we've got blood sacrifices. We've got all of a sudden just so many different things coming in. But it's really good. It's like 3.5 at this point in time from those 3 episodes. Like, I definitely would recommend it to people. I would just say be prepared in the first 3 that you're presented with so much coming into it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've bounced back and forth between 3.5 and 4. I think there was enough happening that kept me interested. I always say at 3 episodes, you should be answering some questions and asking more. And I think it did that well, and the pacing was nice, and there's some really fun characters and really cool moments. So yeah, probably a 4 at this stage. It's a hesitant 4 because, at this stage it could be a train wreck at the end, but I do trust Nana and your opinion on this stuff. So I'm keen to stick it out and see where it ends. That's always a good thing.
Yeah. We might do a recap at the end of the series when we've all seen it. We'll get you back on. And if
Happy to. I've got thoughts on the ending on the last episode.
Yeah,
we could, because I'm honestly I'm probably gonna watch it this week, but yeah, I'm keen to finish it soon.
Yeah,
cool.
Loved it. Well, yeah. Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, you didn't pay me out nearly as much as I thought you would.
Oh, yeah, we want to build you up, just like the suspense. This is the Watcher building. It
was nice to actually have someone in my corner a little bit. We kind of agreed on most things, Nana, and Ramon's just shit.
It's also interesting that I didn't have to put up with any shit Watcher jokes. Like, we're watching the Watcher. I was expecting that from Ryman.
I'm above those kind of jokes. I don't know what you guys have typecast.
Literally made those jokes to me at work. Like, you said them at least twice this week.
And I regretted it because now I can't use them.
All the A material.
That's right. It's all gone. So,
all right. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's all right. And if people are watching this on the Vodcast and you really enjoyed Nana being on, make sure you let us know in the comments and we can see if we can make it a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really bad now. If they don't do that, then I'll be offended.
Well, no one watches it, so I wouldn't worry too much.
Hey, we've got a few comments on it. There's actually been going all right lately. They've been getting close to 80 to 100 views on YouTube and close to that on Spotify. So it's actually
all right.
We're going all right,
actually.
Yeah, I just forget to tell you the stats. I look at them pretty regularly.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for viewers.
Yeah.
Now you've had this pretty face on, then I'm sure that they'll continue to want to view it instead of listen to it.
Yeah, you're balance this out a little bit more.
Because I'm not bald.
Well,
that too.
Yeah. That, and I go on rants and random weird takes, and Lawson's the art house man, and you're just level headed.
Okay, good.
It's true.
Good.
It's been great, Nana. Thank you.
Easy.
Bye.
All right. This stranger.
The stranger.
Yeah. I'm mad you made me watch this.
What?
It was a long film, dude.
It was pretty long.
And I did do a little bit of cheating, and I went into IMDb like reviews and read them, and people saying this is like Netflix's greatest, like, I guess, film. Where that's too far. Yeah, I struggled a lot with it. I thought I'll read the thing out anyway.
Yeah.
Before I go into it. 2 men who met on a bus and strike up a conversation that turns into friendship. For Henry, we're just going to say this wrong. Teague.
Just Teague.
Teague. Worn down by a lifetime of physical labor and crime. This is a dream come true. So, essentially it's pretty true to its. Was it based on a true event or
Yep.
true story? Wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So it's based around Queensland, Brisbane, around that sort of area, the western side of Australia, not the western side, the eastern side. Oh,
In 2010, the story takes place, and it references a murder that took place. Oh, sorry, a kidnapping that took place in 2002.
Yeah. So it's pretty much revolves around Henry, and literally the catalyst is the guys talking on a bus, and
Yep.
it all kicks off from there. So I got to say the acting was really good for an Australian
Best
film.
part.
Like surprisingly, I just any Australian film is generally hard for me to listen to anyway, because our accents sound so bogan even to me. Like,
you reckon?
You don't reckon we sound bogan as like when you watch any other?
I feel so much more connected to Australian characters. As soon as I see an Australian film with good acting, I'm so hooked into anything.
Yeah, right. I'm just no, I'm so used to, I guess, American cinema just from it just sounds weird for any Australian even
interesting
come on there. But it's like the castle, absolutely by far my favorite Australian film. It's so good. I reference it at least a few times a week. Like
legit.
It's just great. Where it took me a little while to get into the Australian accents in it. I thought, unfortunately, Henry, I didn't really connect with him. I just felt, I don't know, disengaged of like his character. I just didn't really was interested at all. I thought the first hour was interesting, and then afterwards I just lost it. Like I wanted to go do other stuff, and I just completely vagued out on massive chunks of the film because I just didn't care.
Interesting. I was hooked the whole way through. I'm very surprised that. I mean, it was 2 hours, but it didn't feel. I don't feel like it felt long. There was probably maybe 10 minutes that could have been cut, and some bits in the middle that when, I mean, to quickly reference what the movie is, it's basically there's a guy called Mark who is an undercover cop, and through this whole complex, infiltration, I guess, he and some other cops pretend to be a crime syndicate, and they hire, quote unquote, Henry. And there's a lot of scenes that are Henry and Mark having conversations and just sort of hanging out. And there probably was a bit too many of them, but I don't feel like that was the problem to me.
Okay. I never really felt like he was in danger though. Like if you're going into these higher stake situations, especially when they were presenting it reminded me of the Godfather sort of atmosphere when he walks in and he's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Mark." And he's like, "I hope that's not your real name. You know not to use your real name." And then they're in that sitting dining room where he's like has to write down his name, and then he comes back and he's like, "No, your real name or your other name." Like that was the only time I felt like there was a little bit of danger for our like character that we're following along. I don't know.
But there's no danger because they're all cops.
Yeah, I don't know, but he should have still felt like he was in danger though.
Why? We knew they were all police. We
Yeah,
knew that they weren't really an undercover crime syndicate. We knew that they weren't really gonna hurt him, and that they're only getting to write his real name down to try and weasel out the information out of him.
I don't know. Just in terms of he should have felt like he was in danger though.
Why? Why is he in danger? What danger?
Well, because they're presenting to be a crime syndicate. Like they were setting up that they were these big bad crime syndicate.
Yeah, to Henry. I'm sure Henry felt intimidated, hence why he wrote his real name. But we don't need to feel like Henry's scared.
I don't know if we should, because it's mostly told through his like point of view, really.
Okay, sure, but he's not.
Yeah, but
Mark's the main character. Henry, we're trying to get Henry to admit that he murdered a child.
Yeah, I felt like we followed Henry more than we did Mark, though.
We only ever see Henry through the lens of Mark or the first character, Paul. Like, how many scenes where was it just Henry, but how many scenes where it was just Mark?
I don't know.
I see it more through Mark's perspective. Even at the end, once they get the confession, Henry, he's not even in the scenes anymore, and the last shot we get is Mark, and the commentary the narration we hear about breathing in and breathing out, that's Mark. It's told through Mark.
All right, I guess I missed that part. I just felt like it was following Henry more than anyone else. Like it was Henry experiencing the cops the crime syndicate closing in on him. That's what I felt like the film was.
There was no crime syndicate.
No, but
They
like
were all police.
I know that, but they're pretending to be pretending to be the crime syndicate.
And there was a bit of disconnect because I there was a big early moment where I thought they were a crime syndicate, and then we learn that they're not. But there's about 10 or 15 minutes of confusion. Are they a crime syndicate? Are they police? We know Mark's an undercover cop, but we don't know for a little while that everybody else is. We think that Mark is part of this actual crime syndicate, but also an undercover cop. And there was, you're fair, and that was some moments where it felt a little confusing, but learning that after the fact totally changed my perspective on the previous scenes. No?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's just it was slow though. It was very, very slow.
I'm not sure. I mean, there's a nice way. I'm not sure you actually paid attention.
I did for the first hour. I gotta say, the second hour, I lost.
It lost you. That's fair.
It lost me completely.
Australian cinema does have a slower burn, I feel. I'm not sure if it's all Australian cinema, but it doesn't have the same techniques driving the story as we're probably used to in Hollywood films and stuff.
It's not The Castle. The Castle is by far fantastic pacing. Everything about it.
Was a comedy.
Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah, and there are Red Dog and whatever. There are a lot of good examples.
Yeah, Red Dog was great. It's like,
but this, I don't know. To me, I mean, I loved it. I thought the characters were fantastic. A lot of cinematography was really quite beautiful. It was, I think the word's thrown around too much, but it was raw in the fact that the characters felt very, very real. There wasn't any over the top music and dramatizations. A lot of it was very grounded and the characters are very raw and believable, and for me, easy to connect with. I think initially Henry Teague almost felt a little too likable. Like, he's a strange guy, but initially when you think, he's running or he's just sort of moving or whatever, he's almost likable in a way. But maybe that's a good thing because it's kind of showing you that even monsters can wear a mask. Where I got annoyed, I guess, and where the movie sort of lost me a bit was when we're going back and forth between that Kate Rylett character who was like the detective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like their scenes were necessary, and I know there was a little bit of commentary on sort of how men navigate these complexities versus how women navigate it, and how the men are all very hot-headed and running in with their dicks blazing, but she was very tactical. But yeah, that lost me a bit, and I would have liked a little bit more setup. This movie went straight into the build, was straight on the bus. I feel like we could have lost some later scenes learning about this fake crime syndicate and the interactions between Mark and Henry. And we could have had more scenes at the beginning where Henry is, packing up and moving, and we get a little bit of understanding of him. And like you say, we could have learned the story more through his eyes. So when Mark does reveal that he's a cop, there's a little bit of there's a little bit of animosity and a little bit of like, oh my God, a bit of tension between the two. But Mark sort of just ghosts after they, sort of bust him and whatever. And there's that payoff isn't there. So there was some pacing issues to me, but in all, I thought it was pretty great.
Yeah, I was expecting more underbelly, like the Australian crime series, where I don't know, I feel like that was more better pacing in terms of building up in with that crime. But I know it's not what they're going for, but that's what I was expecting. I prefer Underbelly, where this film where credit is due. Like, it's well acted, it's dark, it's gritty, the cinematography is quite good. Like, it is a nice little package in terms of the visually and the acting. It's just the story and the pacing threw me off. Like, I wasn't prepared for it. It was just really long, and then it just ends. Like, I know it's based on the true story, but I just I wanted something to happen. Like, I know it's meant to be that psychological thriller of like them trying to get the confession and then work out the crime, but I just I wanted more. I don't know.
It's not the movie that you were expecting, or that you really wanted to watch at that time, I suppose. Because it is a slower burn film, and there are no. We talk about set pieces. There's no set pieces in this really at all. There's one scene where they get the confession, and the other cop is like fumbling around and getting, he can't even drink. He's getting too nervous, etc. Like, there's one sort of scene with a bit of tension, and a bit of that set piece. But yeah, you're right. This movie it's not the typical movie in the way it's written, and 3-act structure in the build and whatever else. But I still liked it. I still thought it was pretty good. Not amazing. I mean, to say it's the best film on Netflix is fucking ridiculous. But it's good.
Yeah. I mean,
to me, it was like do you want to go straight into
I'm done with this film.
Fair. To me, it was a 4. I think it was really clever, and it explained information well at times, but there was some disjointed moments in the story. I think sort of retrospectively could have been written a bit better. Maybe it's closer to 3.5. The little clever things like having that scene where they're bugging the car, and then later we see the next scene that we get, all the audio that we hear in that scene is through these hidden microphones in the car. And little things like that I really appreciate. Like when a movie is filming on an iPhone and they film it with an actual iPhone. Like, those little attention to detail things were really nice, but don't focus on the detail if the grand picture isn't written well. So maybe it's close to a 3.5, but I think it deserves a 4 for what it was.
Okay. Yeah. Look, for me, it's a 2.5. Like, yeah, like, it was, as I said before, it's shot well. The cinematography is good. It's well acted. I didn't personally connect with the story, so I would find it very hard to recommend it to someone and be like,
fair.
Like, would I recommend it to someone who's interested in that type of film? Of course. But I wouldn't be like, this is great, everyone needs to go see it. So I can't give it that 3 recommendation. So my ranking system is, if I'm going to recommend it to people, it needs to be a 3 or above, where I wouldn't recommend it, even though it's a very well-made Australian, I guess, film, which we haven't seen that many of, which is, I hope they do more of it, but with a better writing and pace structure.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, I probably wouldn't. It's interesting because I probably wouldn't recommend it to everyone. But if I was having a conversation with someone about like some really good true crime films or Australian movies and whatever, I definitely mention this and recommend it in the right conversation, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an interesting point. Yeah.
All right. Well, now we go to a little bit more of a lighter tone. Yeah. We are going into Weird, the Al Yankovic story. So this is now streaming on Roku, which is a interesting choice, where I'm always concerned when movies get this sort of publicity and they're streaming on these different streaming servers that aren't obviously the big whatever ones like Disney, Netflix, etc.
Yeah.
And also Daniel Radcliffe plays Weird Al, where when I first saw the post and I saw he was playing him, I was like, all right. Like, he's come out of. He's definitely branched out from Harry Potter. I do struggle a little bit to see him as
Really?
not as Harry Potter, just
Oh,
because
wow.
I haven't seen a heap of his other stuff like Horns and a
Okay.
few others. Like I know he's doing reasonably well outside of him being
Yeah.
Harry Potter, but like just investing that many years into a movie franchise and seeing him, I guess, age and grow as the character, just
Mhm.
that's a lot of time to be able to see him as Harry Potter. Like, I think he does a fantastic job in this. Like,
He's amazing. He is so fucking talented. And this is no offense to you because this is a lot of people, but the fact that he's still known as Harry Potter is honestly a bit of a fucking embarrassment. Like he has looked back and said that Harry Potter is not something that he wants to be known. Like he's happy to be known for it, and he's aware of how much it's done for him, but he looks back and he's like, I wasn't that good at what I was doing back then. And he has acknowledged so much that he's grown and progressed and become a way better actor now. And that's like, have you seen, you probably haven't, but Swiss Army Man, if you haven't watched that, he plays more or less a corpse and he's beautiful. He's so like lovely, and I really like him.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot.
No, that's fair. Like, credit. He's actually a very good actor, but just,
Guns akimbo.
if you've spent that much time as a character, like it's very hard to break out of that typecast. Like that's why people don't stay in those roles for so long. Even like Daniel Craig now, like I will probably struggle for his next 2 or 3 films, whatever he does, as not as James Bond.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be hard to break that mold, regardless of what you're doing. So
You've got to watch more Radcliffe stuff then. Watch Guns Akimbo as well. He's couldn't be further from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not breaking away. I'm just that's where I'm currently at with it.
Yeah.
But
I can understand that.
Yeah. So this film is the synopsis. So it explores every facet of Yankovic's life, from his rise to fame with early hits like Eater and Like a Surgeon to his torrid celebrity love affair and famously depraved lifestyle. So
amazing.
I got to say, it took me probably at least the first act to work out that this was a parody. Because I didn't know anything about his life. I've obviously I grew up with the music, and I really do enjoy his songs. But it took me a little while to go. That's a little bit odd. I feel like that didn't happen.
Yeah,
and
which is fair, because initially a lot of the things in the first act, like buying his accordion from a door-to-door salesman, having to record his first song in a bathroom, that shit's legit. It's everything from there that is absolute. Just it's a parody, and how perfect that his story the story of his life is a parody of life stories. It's so good.
Yeah. it was definitely a fun ride until about the start of Act 3, where they went a little bit too hard on the parody. Like it got a little bit over the top with the slapstick and the Pablo Escobar. And the whole Madonna. Like I had to at the end of this, I had to go and read about, did Weird Al and Madonna have like a relationship? I was like, I'd never heard of it. Apparently all they had was a 45-second like, hello, how are you? Good to meet you exchange backstage, and that was it. But there's this whole story of Al and Madonna having this relationship in this convoluted taking over Pablo's drug lord ring.
Yep.
And then him dying and being saved by his platinum like CDs
that he wears around his neck.
And then he comes back out of the grave to strangle Madonna.
And the whole like Madonna's only being with him for years because of the Yankovic effect, where if he parodies your song becomes like a platinum selling record or whatever, which supposedly has some truth behind it. Not to that level, but supposedly like him releasing songs made other songs do better.
Well,
They
definitely. If you're hearing a
cranked it.
parody that's obviously getting a lot of time, you'd be like, "Oh, what's the original? How closely is it?" Like
Yeah,
that's what the effect would be. Like people would go across
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, that's actually really good."
and
Like,
the story twist of he released "Eat It" before Michael Jackson released "Beat It," and "Beat It" was a parody of "Eat It."
yeah,
So fucking funny, man.
yeah. I looked that one up too, and it was. I knew it wasn't the case, but I was like,
Fair.
what's the where does everything sort of turn
Mhm.
around here? And
Because everything's done with such a serious tone that it all feels believable. I mean,
yeah.
besides the Pablo Escobar, and that probably goes a bit too far, like you
Well,
said. But
even the dad like beating up the salesman, I was like, was that true? And then the dad's like, you can't be a weird kid. You got to come to the factory.
Mhm.
And then
what
it
do you even
turns
make
out
at the factory?
it's like no one knows. It's like when the red light comes on, you pull this lever down. When it goes green, pull the lever up.
Pull it up. Yeah, yeah.
And then he
yeah.
messes it up and like burns his bloke.
It's like, oh, what do you make here? Because the whole thing was, you'll know what they make when you work there. And then he asks the guy who's training him, and he's like, what do you make here? It's like, ha, good one. And walks away. Dude, shit's funny.
It is very funny. And the slapstick, like the massive fight in the diner, I was like, oh, that's a little bit too far on the slapstick.
I
Like,
don't recall. The
so
diner?
yeah, when Madonna gets kidnapped.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So they're in the diner and then he like the massive bloke, he gets his head in like the toaster and burns it. And like that was a little bit too over the top where they didn't quite need that. Like the rest of it was a serious tone. And then they've just gone this massive fight scene. Pablo Escobar's kidnapped his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like it
There were a few scenes where they went totally away from that serious tone. The scenes where they're interacting with the record guy who was played by Weird Al. And those scenes were sort of over the top comedy and almost like goofy and silly, with the guy in the background like repeating after him, being like, "He doesn't like that." Like, and yeah, Pablo Escobar and the whole, I guess, the fight scene as well. And there were a few moments where it was almost too silly, but I don't know. I really liked the tone shifts in this, and that some felt like a direct parody of all those like behind the music stories and everyone's like drug fueled abuse lives and whatever else. And it felt really gritty like that. And then some of it just felt like almost like a Will Ferrell comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
So I was reading about him, but apparently when they first approach him to do the movie, he's like, "Why? I'm so clean cut and boring." Like he apparently doesn't drink and do all that. It's just
exactly. It's squeaky clean.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, well, as long as you make it a parody," and then here we are.
It's based on an old Funny or Die skit back in like 2012 or something. They did a 4-minute skit, almost like a trailer for this movie. And it was the same guy, Eric Appel, who he co-wrote with Weird Al on this. Doesn't have much history or much of a history in feature-length films. The director and writer. I love this. I would watch more of his stuff purely based on this. Yeah. And for a film with a very low, like it was 8 million, which is bugger all. Funded by Roku. Weird Al. Daniel Radcliffe has this ability to, he knows what he likes and he attaches his name to the things that he believes in. And it's not about big budgets or really crazy stories that are going to get him awards and whatnot. He knows what he likes, and he likes making good, fun shit and playing good, fun characters. And he's fucking awesome in this. Like, I know he's probably not too close to Weird Al, but he's so fun and so funny.
Yeah,
I fucking love this movie.
It was great. I did enjoy it. It was just a little bit too over the top at moments where it sort of went into not quite there, but like the Scary Movie kind of franchise with that over the topness.
Yeah.
Where I would have liked it to just dial that back. It was pretty much just the Pablo and the fight scene got a little bit ridiculous. Okay. The rest of it I really enjoyed. It's just
even down to like there's that scene where there's that classic like they're getting called out at a party, and it's like, if you're so good, do one right
That's right.
now. And then he belts out, what was it? One of his fucking bangers.
Something about a bus.
Oh yeah, another one rides a bus.
Yeah.
And yeah, that scene that when all his friends play the instrument with him, I was like, oh guys, I didn't know you could play instruments. Like, you didn't tell me that. It's like, oh, I guess it didn't seem relevant at the time. Like, there was just some really fucking funny lines.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that Dr. Dementor, which was played by the guy from The Office, Dwight, whatever his name is, I haven't seen The Office. I kind of wish it was Zach Galifianakis, who you would know as the fat guy from Hangover.
Oh yeah.
Him.
Yeah. I think he did a reasonable job of being that quirky guy.
He did.
Yeah.
I just love Zach Galifianakis as those sorts of characters.
And he's like,
And
I
to
know
see Jack Black.
I know you did. Was it? I didn't know you didn't have a father. Can I adopt you? Just ridiculousness.
And then it's like, oh, I've just actually, rekindled my relationship with my father. Oh, okay, and just sort of like awkwardly leaves. Dude,
Yeah. What would you
funny
give it?
shit. You probably gonna hate me, but fucking 4.5.
Yeah. It's fair. I gave it a 4. Like it's good.
So good.
And
It's the best comedy I've seen this year, 100%.
Surprising for a Ruku film. Like I haven't seen anything good from them really.
I don't know what I have seen of theirs, to be honest.
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
No.
But yeah, definitely go see it. If you haven't seen it already, highly recommended. Good fun.
It's really fun.
But we have a Netflix special for you guys next week. It's we are releasing late due to obviously we had a massive storm here where we live, and a number of us didn't have power, as you would have heard. So you get 2 episodes close together. So we're going to do Slumberland, which is a Netflix film, which Jason Momoa. Did I say that right? Yeah. Yep. He's doing kind of this dreamland sort of Sandman-y kind of film. And also 1899, which originally I thought was a film, but it turns out it's a series. But that's fine. That actually works out better. And because we are getting close to Christmas and we're about to hear Mariah Carey everywhere on the radio, we are doing Fooling for Christmas with the revival of Lindsay Lohan.
I can't believe we're watching this. I keep seeing the thumbnails on Netflix and going, that looks like shit. And now I want to fucking watch it.
Yep.
God damn.
Well, we actually watched Freaky Friday not that long ago. And
good movie.
I did enjoy it. Like, good
Jamie
fun.
Lee Curtis fucking carries that movie. That's such a good movie.
Lindsay Lohan did it right. That was like her peak. And we also watched Parent Trap recently as well.
Yeah. I'm not that big a fan of that, to be honest.
Well, it's my wife's like one of her favorite films. Like she watched it heaps growing up. So the kids enjoyed it. So yeah, it is what it is.
Oh, good. That's nice. They enjoy a movie like of that age.
Well, we're starting to go into away from ABC Kids and into like the sort of, I guess, what would you call it? Live action kid shows. So we're into a show called Kick It, which is a karate show on Disney, and it's
cool.
Their dojo is called Wasabi. So they're like, Wasabi. It's not good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not great. But
you have to show him Buffy one day. That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, we'll get around to that. Buffy was great.
Yeah.
It went for a long time though. Yeah. Yeah, that's all we got for you.
Stuff.
So if you did enjoy our new segments, because, I like to try lots of random things. And also, if you liked us having a more level-headed, more focused member of our group come in and introduce things rather than our ramblings, let us know. Obviously hit us up on all the socials. Let us know on Twitch as well. So we're live every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:45 Australian Central Standard Time, and or put it on the Vodcast if you like to as well. So
hell yeah,
you know what you do. You could be doing anything in the world right now, but you're here listening to us, and we just want you to spread the word, let people know. And if you've got any connections to Under Armour, just be like, hey, I know this awesome movie talks podcast, and they want to like sponsor us.
What Under Armour to do with movies?
Nothing. I just really like their clothing. So, let them know. But yeah,
Sure.
it's you miss every shot you don't take.
Okay, yeah, it's fair.
So yeah, tell your friends, tell your acquaintances, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell your dog, your sister, your brother. Brighten their day, hinder their
Tell
day,
everybody.
whatever. Tell everybody. And yeah,
Tell
Lawson,
your goddamn friends.
catch that phrase us out. Do it
Love
again.
you guys.
Yes. Bye.